Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's week 12, the End Zone Emcees edition. I'm your host, Young and You, with my boy Hamilton James. We're back at it again, talking about some juicy games that happened this last weekend. Going to start with the Eagles and Bills. I know that's the one you guys watched the most. A lot of people watched the most this last weekend. Eagles winning in OT. Very close shootout game, 37-34. Both teams going crazy. And Hamilton, what are some things that you took away from this game that really stood out to you? Turning points, etc.
First things first. Shout out to the NFL for scheduling that game on a Sunday night. Because I swear, some of the Monday night and Sunday night football games have been kind of trash this year. And I know a
For
lot of it has
real.
to do with the fact that like Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be on the Jets, so a lot of the I know why the Jets is on national TV, but I mean, good lord, I mean, y'all couldn't switch that up a couple times, fellas. Who's making the who? I mean, sheesh, even the NBA will get it right in that capacity. If the game isn't good or the team sucks, the NBA will switch that game up quick. You know what I'm saying? That nationally televised game. The NFL, they'll make us go through it. Like last night, Vikings and Bears. Who the hell wanted to watch that?
I didn't.
Come home from work and watch that. Oh my god, I don't know. So they shout out to the NFL for just getting the Sunday night game right. Don't have much to say other than it was an incredible game. Both teams played well. It really came down to that final run, that final QB draw by uh, by Jalen Hurts. But I think it was overall a good game. Um, I think Josh Allen. I don't know, man. I feel like Josh Allen's kind of overrated. Like he's talented, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if the talent doesn't translate to wins, it doesn't translate to success, then you can be really talented. But what does that mean? It's empty calories at that point. Um, and I think that's what. Again, I said this last week. Josh Allen's getting passed up, bro. You know, we
Hmm.
already said there's probably what 5, 6 quarterbacks you would probably pick over Josh Allen. And the talent is there. You know, we see the talent, we recognize it, we understand it. But dang, you just keep on losing, and you lose on national TV in big moments. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. You lose on national TV in big moments. So yeah, the Bills. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year, and I don't think they're gonna even have Stephon Diggs next year. I think there's a lot of. I think this season is really that make or break season for the Bills, and it's showing. On the flip side, my goodness, the Eagles just keep finding ways to win. Like it really doesn't matter. Like they'll run the ball on you, they'll throw the ball on you. Uh, oh man, they're just finding ways to win. The coach is great, the players are great. Jalen Hurts is he's a man amongst boys out there. He made some ballsy throws, some ballsy runs, won the game. Just cool, calm, collected. I can't say enough about Jalen Hurts, man. It was a great game to watch. And I think the Eagles are looking like they're going. If currently, I mean, looks like they're going to get to the Super Bowl again because there's just no one in the NFC, maybe outside of the 49ers, that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a threat. And it's the 49ers, it's the Eagles, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, dude. That's an important game coming up this next weekend. I was just talking to my friends about that one. I was like, dude, that's gonna be a sick game to watch for sure. But yeah, going back to the Bills' performance and just coming up short, just a bit short, man. Like I don't know, Josh Allen, man,
Again,
that curse is getting to him, bro. And like
again.
I agree with you taking him being overrated for, especially for how much he's getting paid. Yes, I agree. And yeah, it's just that again that defense is banged up, so it doesn't help the Bills either. Um, Eagles, they're just so dominant. So 10-1 is just they're no joke. It's nothing to else much to it, man. I mean, everyone's balling on that squad. Everyone's healthy. It's just going to be hard. They're going to be the team to beat in both leagues. So
Yeah,
all credit to Philly.
yeah, no, I agree, bro. I think that I just don't see a team. I can see a team sticking around with the Eagles for sure. But
Mm,
as far as making the plays to beat them, the only team I can really think of is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and that's because they got Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
shoot, I mean, we saw the difference between last year and this year. If you ask me, when I watched both games, was that the Chiefs receivers, they're not ready to go, bro. And so because of that, I'm looking like who's gonna stop the Eagles this season? The only team that can stop the Eagles is the Eagles. Seriously, that's it. I don't
hmm
see any other team. I see teams hanging around, but when it's time for that knockout punch, the Eagles is gonna deliver. So I think the Eagles might win it all this year. The way it's looking. Yeah, man, and the AFC was a little bit more just from the star teams. I would say AFC is a little bit more disappointing than I thought. Joe Burrow hurt. The Ravens, okay, they cool. Bills not doing well. Dolphins can't beat anybody formidable. Um, yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. If the AFC isn't as strong as I thought this year, so
Yeah.
I really think this might be the Eagles' year.
I would have to agree with that, man. As far as right now, if the season would end today, yeah, I agree. So I'm looking forward to that Eagles Niners game for sure, man. That's gonna be a great one to talk about next week. Um, Going on to the AFC, we got the Broncos who've won 5 in a row. They just recently crushed the Browns. Thank you, and shout out Denver for that. And I want to know, are they for real, Ham, or are they frauds?
It's a good question. They're currently, if I'm not mistaken, they're like ninth in the AFC right now. They're only two
Six and
spots away
five,
from the
second
wild
in their
card.
division.
But I think they're like there's like three teams that are like 6-5 right now because the shoot,
Mm-hmm.
who's the 7th seed team? Oh man,
Texans.
thank the 7th seed team is the Texans. Aren't they 6-5 right now currently?
Oh wait, no, because the Colts are also 6 and 5, and the Colts are
That's
above
what
them
it
in the
is.
standings.
Colts are in that seventh spot right now, and they're 6-5. I think I look if the Colts can make the playoffs, and I don't know who the hell the quarterback is right now. I'm definitely going to say the Broncos are not pretenders, not anymore. You can't win 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row, and be pretenders. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they won against some pretty good competition. We've been talking
Mm-hmm.
about that Browns defense being top 3 all year. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think that what's happened is that Russell Wilson and Sean Payton have finally started speaking each other's language, starting to understand each other a little bit more better. That defense has become opportunistic and has become deadly with all the takeaways they've been getting in the last 5-6 games. The defense just woke up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the defensive coordinator because we were saying he needs to be fired after dropping getting that 70-piece fort on him. There was no love for him when that was going down. So to
No.
bring up, to quiet. We don't talk about this enough, but to quiet all of that noise, to keep them boys focused, and then have them boys just execute and start believing. Oh no, I truly think that the Broncos can win. I think they can be 10-7. I think they can. I think they can be 10-7. Honestly, I think that they're for real. I think that in the playoffs, not regular season, but in the playoffs, I think you can let Russ cook, and I think that's when you can have that Russell Wilson vintage type moment because it's a single elimination. So you got to have your guy ball out, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think that in that type of environment, now if you're asking Russ to do it for the whole season, no. But if you're asking him to do it one game at a time, single elimination, I truly believe he can still. I mean, I don't. Russell Wilson's like 33 years old, 34 years old. He's not that old. Now I get it, football years, and I get he's been hit and banged up, injuries, yada yada. But I mean, the man, you don't look like he's slow. You don't look morbid. You know what I'm saying? He's 33, 34 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I think Russell Wilson, I think uh, I think his confidence is back. I think Sean Payton's confidence as the coach is back. I think the Broncos could do it, bro. I think they can make a playoff spot. Now, are they going to win the Super Bowl? I don't know about that,
Yeah.
but I think they can make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's valid. That's a valid take right there. And I just read the stat like not too long ago that the last 4 games they had 16 turnovers, dude. Like that's 4 a game. Like if they
That's
keep
due to
that
their defense.
defensive rolling, if they keep that defense rolling, that's big because they've been bad most of the year.
If they
So.
keep that mindset, you feel me? If not only just the defense but the offense, if they keep that mindset, we can score on anybody and we can stop anybody. Oh, this team will continue to go far. So I mean,
Mhm.
five in a row, 6 in a row is not a fluke. And they've won against some pretty good defenses. Now I know the Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson and yada yada, but they were going up against that defense. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And the Broncos are in a tough division too with the Chiefs, really. But
I mean,
yeah, it's
we know they're not going to win the division. At best they're going to be a wild
yeah,
card spot. So we
yeah.
know they're going to be somewhere between 5 through 7. So it just depends. I can see them being 7 or 6.
I can see that too. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's been an interesting ride for Broncos country, man, so far this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's good to see that. Let's hope that Russ and Sean Payton resurge that locker room back again from last season and keep that ball rolling, man. It's been been pretty good to see from that lately. It's been one of the more interesting stories so far in this NFL season.
Definitely.
So going on to the Texans and Jaguars game. Now that was an interesting game. I think the Jaguars, that final score was 24-21 Jags. Texans lost. The last second field was not even a yard short of the crossbar. It was just it was a heartbreaker for the Texans. But CJ Stroud, 250 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, it's usual for him now.
Making plays with his legs. From the highlights I saw, he was making plays with his legs. Usually, most of the time this season, he's been exclusively in the pocket, just slinging that thing. He was actually making plays, running out of the pocket, and that was nice to see. I think he's a dual threat quarterback. I think that he can. I think that obviously playing in the pocket is probably more of his forte. But if you need him to extend plays, stretch plays, and make something happen, he can do that. CJ Stroud is just the truth to me, bro. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think is going to win the AFC South?
I'm gonna keep going for the Texans on this one, bro. I will, because I feel like the Jags are such a beatable team, and I don't know. There have been so many close games where they've played and just like they've gotten away with so many opportunities that they've been given. Where it's just like I feel like I haven't looked at their schedule, to be fair, but when it comes down to like crunch time, like especially watching those last 2 games with the Jags, it's like they haven't really like locked it down, like sealed the deal type of thing, So like with the Texans this last week, they were still like, fighting for every yard, trying to like score another time, and when they couldn't. And I don't know, man. I have a feeling that the Texans have the momentum. They're hungry too. There have been so many heartbreaking losses they have that they're hungry. They're gonna fucking just keep on swinging, bro. So I'm rooting for the Texans right here, man. What about you?
Well, I want to say the Texans, but the Jaguars have been there before. And so I'm 50-50. I do believe that as of right now, I do believe that CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in the AFC South. I do believe that.
I do too.
I can't count out Trevor Lawrence though. And that's why like I feel like I don't know. I feel like you know what? I'm gonna go with the Texans. And my reasoning is because I think that defense is really nice. So I'm gonna go with the Texans for defensive purposes. Um, I think that D'Amico Ryans. I trust him. I trust him a lot. I'm gonna go with the Texans. It's tough. It's very close. It's like 51-49 Texans in my opinion. It's right there. Um, I'm just excited to see what they can do. So I'm gonna go with them.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I was very close with them too. I'm taking the Texans by a slight advantage. I would definitely take CJ Stroud over Trevor Lawrence, though, if I had a team and I had to choose a quarterback. I would take CJ Stroud over most of these quarterbacks these days, honestly, bro. I would take him over Lamar. I'd take him over probably like Purdy, and a lot of those guys. So I don't know. He's really selling me this season, and I can't wait to see what more he's going to bring to the table and that young team. That team's only going to get better too. So yeah, I'm excited to see that and how that team's going to turn out. Speaking of young teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers got their first game over 400 yards in the first time in 60 games. Quite the milestone that they accomplished. And without Matt Canada, Steelers Nation unite. Let's go. Yeah, glad to see that one. I had to say that and address it. I know that it was against the Bengals team that's really banged up and not good. So there's that. And it's just really good to see Kenny Pickett go over 200 yards for once, I mean, shit. I mean, Pat Freiermuth came back, I think, like last week, and in this game he had like 120 yards. And
I'm shaking my head because Kenny Pickett screwed up my parlay. One time,
oh shit!
Kenny Pickett screwed up my parlay. I was 2 of 3, and I went under on Kenny Pickett. And the one time that I gambled, Kenny Pickett decides to be an NFL quarterback. So excuse me, bro. if I want to, excuse me if I